I came here seeking as a humble devotee the divine grace of Mataji. It's no question of my gracing the occasion. And we start the concert with the composition of Shri Muthuswami Dikshitar in the Raga Hamsatvani, set to Aditala.
जय श्री माता जी। हम सभी परम पूज्य श्री माता जी के श्री चरणों में सामूहिक प्रणाम कर कुंडलिनी उठाकर बंधन लेंगे। तीन महामंत्र और श्री गणेश मंत्र।
प्रदा
इसी ध्यान की अवस्था में हम सभी श्री माता जी की अमृत वाणी को आत्मसात करेंगे।
The other day I talked to you about the importance of dedication in Sahaja Yoga and the devotion that one should have. Actually, when we are close to the mountain, we can't see much of it. And that's why we don't realize the volume that is so close to us, the greatness that is facing us. This is one of the illusions that works out for people who do not realize it mentally, what they are in for. Where are they? What have they found? What is self-realization? What is its magnitude? How far they have to go? Why are they chosen? What is their purpose of life? How far they have come up? How far they can understand? All these things are beyond the grasp, and one gets stunned. One doesn't know what has happened to him when he got realization actually. That's why to understand this, is only possible if you can understand how to dedicate, how to devote yourself. If you want to analyze anything on the basis of your rationality, you are too stunned. It's beyond you. It's fantastic. It is too much. It's really beyond. Now think of it, you have got realization. Can you believe it? That you can in your lifetime. If somebody had told you this, you would never have believed it. That how can you get your realization in this earth? Of course you are seeking, because people were saying you have to seek, also you felt you have to seek. But you never thought that this will materialize like this, that you will get your realization. Then after getting realization, you could not feel what it was. Just if you have dropped into the ocean and you don't know what is the dimension of this ocean. How far you have gone into it. What is it? Where are we? What is our purpose? To add up to all the mess, we become thoughtless. So you cannot even find out as to rationally what it is. So the immensity of this experience, the glory of your mother's coming, or the precious gift of your self-realization, nothing can be realized through your understanding. Try to think. What have you got? Can you measure it with your understanding? Can you understand what has happened? No, you cannot. Because rationality cannot give you the dimensions into which you have fallen. The rationality is actually broken up. There is no rationality left now anymore to even communicate as to what you have been seeking and where have you landed. So the only method you have got now, or only way is left to you, for a drop which has become an ocean, is to dissolve more in the ocean, so that you feel the ocean at least, and to communicate with other drops in such a way that you know the whole through all of them. So first is a complete devotion. It's very important. In this incarnation only, it is so very important, because you have got realization. If you did not have realization, all right, murmuring souls, all right, half-baked people, all right, little bit misbehaving, all right. This can be forgiven, that can be forgiven. Everything is forgiven to look at it. Everybody thinks that mother is forgiving us. That's not the point. I am forgiving because of my own nature. But you do not take it for granted. You are harming yourself by accepting that forgiveness. If you all the time think, oh mother, you are so forgiving, please forgive me, you are already forgiven as it is. Once you call me mother, you are forgiven. But what's the advantage? You don't have any advantage of that. You are a loser. At this point, at least rationally, if you understand, then you will understand what is a devotion. So, in devotion of Sahaja Yoga, one has to realize that the things that are in Sahaja Yoga, that you have seen in Sahaja Yoga, are beyond your mind. First thing. Definitely they are beyond human conception. So on human level, you do not discuss them and you do not talk about them. But on the collective level, you can talk. And when you come to the collective level, then you have to understand that relationship with me is more established, better established, if you establish your relationships with others in a very collective and homogeneous way. As I told you, the drop becomes the ocean, and the drop has to become the ocean by dissolving all its dropness with other drops, and all the drops dropping their dropness become the ocean ultimately. So we'll see that devotion is double-edged. One is to each other and one is to your mother. In Sahaja Yoga, whatever I see, you cannot see. This is proved or not to you people? Or you want more proofs? Now it is proved that mother sees much beyond us and whatever she sees happens. So anybody who tries to play tricks with mother is actually playing tricks with himself. Any tricks you try to play with me, or you think that mother is very forgiving, so she will forgive us, is really you are torturing yourself, it is detrimental to you. Many people are there who will say that it is my left swadhisthana. Some will say I was possessed, there was bhoot. Somebody will blame something else. Whatever you are blaming, actually who is asking you the explanation? It's only you asking yourself. You are not facing yourself. So the devotion to me means actually facing to yourself. You face yourself first of all and see for yourself what are you doing. You are your own enemy. Nobody is your enemy. Your mother is not, definitely. She is not your enemy by any chance. And no bhoots are your enemies in the way, if you do not allow them, they can't be there. No evil person is your enemy because he cannot be effective if you are spiritually equipped. So you are your own enemy is decided now. The only way to get rid of that enemy of yours, you have to dedicate. Supposing you say that I have faith in Mother or in God. So you are holding on to something, isn't it? And you are discarding something. But this hold has to be very strong. Rationally, if you are at that time when you are sinking, will you rationalize whether I should hold the hand of this person who is saving is correct or not? No, your grip will be very strong. It will be extremely strong, and you will grip it with full force, with full faith that some or other save me. And that kind of a feeling should be within us, that I am a person who is sinking because of myself. And if I am to be saved, I have to be absolutely, completely submerged in Sahaja. Absolutely I have to become one with it. Then only I can be saved. Because at this level where you are realized souls of a higher level, now for a next jump, as I was saying to you, is devotion. Anything else has to be secondary under the circumstances. If it is primary and your attention is still on that, then you cannot have this second jump. First jump you have already done, you have got your realization. But from first jump to second jump, you worked hard, you have come to the second jump. In the second jump, you have to face it up. You should not feel disgusted with yourself, not dejected with yourself or nothing, but treat yourself as a separate entity. And dedication is actually turning back to yourself and looking forward towards the divine personality in you. Once there is divine personality in you, there is no problem of devotion. You will just become one with it. You start enjoying it. But this rationality is the worst thing. That plays tricks with you, which deviates you from understanding that whatever life you have led so far has been on a very material, gross life. You came out of it, you have grown out of it, you have come up. Now, to blossom, to become fragrant, you have to give up rationality. That's a binding. Try to avoid rationality. Try to avoid arguments. Try to avoid giving reasons. And even now, I find sometimes Sahajogis give an explanation of psychology. She might be insecure mother. This is typically somewhere read in the book, because of insecurity somebody does that. Actually, now we have seen in Sahaja Yoga that most of the so-called insecure are the most aggressive people. They play tricks with others, spoil their lives and enjoy it. They are the greatest sadists ever born. We have seen these people. She's insecure, and that's how they play tricks with themselves. Now, once you understand that you are not to play tricks with yourself, why do you want to play tricks with yourself? You have to be yourself, that's all. We should not be our own enemies, are we? So once you start facing yourself, you will like yourself. You won't feel disgusted. Because that what yourself I'm talking about is glorious, is beautiful, is without any kalank on that, is absolutely detached. But first of all, your attention has to accept it, that this detachment is my life. I'm a different personality. Detachment is my nourishment. Detach yourself. One gentleman came to see me in my house. I had a very beautiful lamp and he liked it. I said, you have it? He was so amazed. See? Wife telephoned to me, how could it be? How could you give away such a nice lamp? I said, what's that? Am I going to carry it with me when I die? Is it going to go with me? Just see rationally. If he has liked it, better have it. I have so many lamps in the house. If he takes one, what does it matter? She said, but you see, I asked my husband, will you give this lamp like this if you had to her? He said, no, I would not. I would not, he said. He was very honest. He said, I would not. But still I can't understand, why not? So, till the last end we are holding on to something very little there. This even a little bit is holding the sari. You know that. That can hold the whole sari. Even a little bit is attaching to the sari. The sari can be held back. The whole thing you can hold it with one little pin. All these small pins that are there, the hangs up, are to be denied, to be seen, going further. Look at yourself. Oh, that's Mr. Ego. All right, now, deceit, let me see. How do you go back? To see all those things. You see, as a play, you should see yourself. And then play tricks with your ego and superego. Actually, they playing tricks with you. Once you are a master, you play tricks with them. So many times I've said so many things. And they are again, then after some time, people start talking about it. Within 1 or 2 months after that, it comes as a scientific proof or things like that. You have seen that many a times it has happened. Now, when I say something, I'm sure about it. What I say, I never say anything but the truth. I know that I'm saying only the truth. But I do not go inside and find out whether it's the truth or not. I don't read a book to find out. I don't ask you. I have faith in myself, full faith in myself. Whatever I say is the truth. I know for definite that whatever I say comes out truth. But that's not your case. That's not your case, that whatever you say is the truth. So first you have to establish the state that whatever I say will be the truth. Now how do you do it? The tongue should be such that whatever you say should be the truth. Ultimately it will come out as truth. And that is why the dedication should be there. What dedication? Why should I tell lies? There is no need to tell lies. Even if I tell lies, it will come truth. In my case, so-called lies. They are never lies. If I say to somebody, he is a bad man, apparently to your mother, he's such a fine man. How can you say such a thing about him? We had one Mr. Michael like that. Oh, he's such a loving person, mother. Well, somebody said, mother, are you jealous of him? Up to that extent, But when he showed his real teeth, you see, then people. So, to develop that kind of understanding about the truth, first of all, you should absolutely fix yourself on the truth. And the truth is that you are the instrument of God, that you have got realization, that you have got a spatial awareness which people do not have. Stand on that. and proclaim it. You are not to be afraid of it. You have got realization, no doubt. You have felt it. Say it, I have got realization, nothing doing, I know I am realized. Firm on that. In this expression of truth, you have to be like the light. The light asserts. It not only asserts, but it shows others also that it shines. It shows others that I am the light, that you walk in my light. And if you don't try to do it, I may burn you. So they have that, what you call that, I don't know what's the word in Tejasvita. Tejas.
Sharpness.
Sharpness of light. That Tejasvita is there, that sharpness of light. That is the proof of your truth. You are not afraid of any prime minister or any minister or any king or anyone. But this is the fact. That's the thing. I know I am a realized soul. I am the truth. If you say I am the truth, whatever you will say will be the truth. No doubt about it. Whatever you will do will be the truth. But say I am the truth. But for that, a real purification is needed about facing yourself fully in dedication. Means you are holding on to your mother. You are holding on to Sahaja Yoga. You are holding on to that truth which you have found out. And here you are facing others. Without that you cannot do it. Your source is that. You are standing on the truth. And that is such a power, such a strength. All of them, if you see, Christ had that power, Muhammad had that power, all these great people had that power. To say the truth with full courage, with that assertion that people will accept it. And they would suffer even for that. They wouldn't mind. But whatever is the truth has to be said. That's the first point, what should know about dedication, that you are dedicated fully, that you are not afraid of anyone. You are not worried about your losses. Some people have lost their heads also, completely cut their heads. People have tortured them. Some people have been taken away all their money, have been tortured in every way. But they thought this was the truth, they stood by. Some of them were stupid fools, they stood for something that was not truth. They did. But now you know that you are standing on the truth, and for that you should be willing to sacrifice anything, so-called sacrifice, because you are not sacrificing the truth. What you are sacrificing is untruth. For that you require people of strength and courage, and not these half-baked people. You see, the morning till evening asking for forgiveness from mother. What is it? What is there to ask for forgiveness? Because I am forgiving you every moment. But what are you doing to yourself? What sort of a person you are? You think about it, that you have to stand on the truth. For that, you have to be a strong, courageous person with that sharpness, that Tejasvita within you, of the light, of the beacon. But at the same time, you have to have complete dedication. Supposing there is no oil in this, it will all go off. It has to have oil. It will go off. So the dedication part is the oil in you, is the attachment, complete attachment to your source. That's the dedication. But that dedication should not give you any other ideas but of a light which shines, which corrects others, guides the path of other people. If that is not so, then the source that you are tapping is not coming to you fully, and that your light is not burning properly. So, into dedication when you go, you must not think that it is any surrendering, the so-called surrendering, that you become like a cabbage. That's the idea people have, that you become like cabbage. But you become dynamic. You become real power. not of destruction, but of construction. I mean, for destruction you don't need much power. Only for construction you need power. For destruction, how much do you need? Very little. You can destroy the whole thing in no time. But for the construction, you really require great power. And that power, sustained power, flowing power has to be there. For that, dedication is needed. Holding on to your source of power, you have to stand firm, courageously, without any fear. That's the truth. That's the truth you have to achieve. That's very important. But this is only one side of the story. That's not sufficient. Just being the truth, the aspect of one side is there. But the other side of it is that when this source comes to you, you become the compassion. The truth and the compassion are one thing. You won't believe, but it is so. Like the wick and the oil combine to form the light. It is the burning of the oil gives you the light. In the same way, the compassion gives you the truth. There's no difference whatsoever. Only the state is different. That you cannot see the light, which is oil, and oil, which is burning. So compassion is the one which is the source as well as your stove. So from the source of compassion, you get your compassion. You see, I have seen people, they want to have compassion from me. They want that I should love them. But reflect it back. Do they love others like that? I have known people, they have, say for one person, says harsh things to others. One comes and asks me, Mother, forgive me for that. Or does something harsh just for the whim of the mind. Mother, forgive me. But when you ask for that, I would like to know, have you given compassion to another person? Even after getting forgiveness from me, that source of forgiveness, that source of compassion, have you given compassion to others? Have you been compassionate to others? You see, it should not be one-sided. If you are taking the advantage of my compassion, it should not be one-sided, that you use it for your own benefit and forget about it. Then you will never grow. You will never grow. If you have to grow, then you must store that compassion within you. Whatever compassion I have given you, love I have given you, you must store that within you. And give that back to others. Otherwise, you will be finished. You will be nowhere. It's the growth which is sustained only, not only by sucking from one side, but by giving to others. Otherwise, you will be stagnated. There has to be outflow. But that is a very hard thing, because people are very good at taking compassion from others. Or even if they are compassionate, they will be mostly compassionate to people who are, say, in, say, Vietnam, not in the ashram. They are more worried about Vietnam people, you know. Oh, Mother, we are worried about Vietnam people, we are collecting money for them, we are trying to send money to Vietnam, and here among ashramites, fighting. This is not compassion by any chance. Sahajogis among themselves are a different race, and they are to support each other all the time and look after them. When I find Sahajogis criticizing Sahajogis, I am amazed. I am really amazed. Because you are part and parcel of the same. How can you criticize one eye criticizing another person? I just can't understand. I can criticize, all right. But why should you? Why should you criticize each other? Only thing that you have to do is to love each other. Christ has said it thrice. I must have said it 108 times already. That you have to love each other. That is the only way you are expressing compassion. If I have given you any love any time, you have to have patience with others, love for others. I sometimes try to coax people, and I find that people immediately come out with some sort of a criticism of others or something like that. Now the basic thing is that our compassion, if that is flowing, then only we can get compassion from others. There is no place anymore. I've done too much compassion business. And what I find that now, unless and until you flow it, how am I to give you compassion? I mean, there's no space left now. So better give it away, empty yourself a little bit, then I can give you more compassion. It's simple business. In this respect, one has to understand that the source cannot flow unless and until it expands the flow of it. Like the river Thames. We went to see the river Thames, the place from where it starts. It's a small little stream from 7 streams, very little, we can say trickling down. It has become a river Thames. Supposing it does not widens, that will stop at the beginning only. It cannot come out. It cannot flow. It's not because it is angry or upset or anything like that, but by the nature of its flow, only it cannot flow. What to do? So that is what it is. That one has to give compassion to others. It should not be formal compassion or affected one, but should be a natural one. Very natural, spontaneous, feeling from within. It's not an expression of your ego or superego or over sentimentality, but is a kind of a understanding that he is a Sahajogi, you are a Sahajogi, you are brothers. Not the way the brothers have been, but a different type of brothers who are spiritual brothers. You are spiritual people. So this compassion has to be there, and unless and until you develop that compassionate, fatherly or motherly feelings for others. I mean, I am a mother of a person who is about 108 years of age. You have to really mother others and have that feeling of compassion and love for others. You don't have to think about your own comfort. You don't have to think about your own advantages, but you have to think about the comfort of others. You have to think what you can do to make others comfortable than to see what will make you comfortable. So this flow of compassion, when it starts, you see, the dedication is complete. Because whatever we got from you, Mother, we are giving it to others. That's the dedication. So the flow of dedication is not one-sided. It is double-sided. You stick on to something, you get connected with something to get something out of it, and you give it to others. And ultimately that reaches the collective being, means it reaches the source. It is in this light we have to understand. Exclusiveness, we should now marry, we should have separate place, we should live separately. It's all right. You must have little privacy as a married people. I am not saying that. But as far as compassion is concerned, as married people, you have to be much more compassionate. But you will only worry about your own children, about your own comfort, about your own husband, about your own wife. In Sahaja Yoga, there is no place for such people. It's all collective. When you bring sweets for your own child, bring for other children in the ashram. You are one family, and all the family has to move with the same waves. I had told you before that we cannot have separate food arrangements, separate this and separate that. And in the same way, we cannot have separate standards of living for different people. We all have to enjoy whatever is enjoyed by all of you. That should be so. And that should be achieved on material level. On emotional level, any marriage which is absurd, which makes everyone unhappy, is useless. But marriages are made to make everyone happy. So before you decide to marry, think that you are not playing tricks. Playing tricks in Sahaja Yoga is very, very dangerous. You are not playing tricks with your marriages. You are not trying to involve somebody else thinking that mother will forgive you and all that. I will forgive, but your assent is difficult. So don't try to play tricks with anything that you have been doing before, but change yourself completely, transform yourself completely. Now you change your attitude towards life, you can, because it is changed already. If you try to be the other person, you cannot be. Now you have become a flower, now you can't become suddenly the leaf. Now you are a flower, and you have to live like a flower. And that's what you have to remember, that compassion is such an outflow, is such a natural thing for a Sahaja Yogi. It's not natural for anybody else. Other people who talk of compassion or this and that are not at all compassionate. They are doing it for money, they are doing it for position, they are doing it for ego satisfaction. But you are having compassion because you have to have it, jolly well. It is flowing, the compassion, because it has to flow. And you are doing compassion because of compassion. There is no other purpose behind it. Only this will give you something that is of permanent nature, of a sthayi nature. I have seen people, as I was telling in the morning, who have gone to an organization, made a beautiful organization out of it, and once they leave, the organization is finished. Because they do not give anything substantial to that organization. And what is to be given is a large heart of compassion. If you do not give that, once you go away from that, the rest of them are again barren. It's not grown. Like if you bring water and plant things and give water to that area, then it becomes very beautiful, and you can say it's a very lush growth. But as soon as that water source is removed, it gets again dried up. But Sahaja Yoga is different. In Sahaja Yoga, you not only grow as a plant, but also as the source of the plant. If this plant is removed from here, put somewhere, it will give water to other plants. Do you know this new dimension that you have within yourself? That once this plant is uprooted from here and taken out, it will not die, not at all. It will grow, but it will make others grow. This is another type of a growth that we have. And it's a very different position we are in. And that's what now I want, that all of you, even if you are uprooted and put into any other place. I've seen when I ask people that you better shift from here to there, they just get frightened. You better go there and do this. They get frightened. You are a plant which can not only go and prosper in any place, but you will give the necessary nourishment to other plants. That's what you are. So do not stick on to one place. If you stick on, then think there must be something wrong with the place. Like a glue, if you are sticking to one place, it's very dangerous. And be sure that you must turn away from such a place which glues you. That doesn't mean that as people are here, they never stay in the house, all the time running out. It doesn't mean. Again, I have to strike that point. Because otherwise the people are here, are all the time running away from their houses. That's not the point. The point is that you should not be glued to anything and not afraid of leaving any place, because now you are Sahaja Yogis. You have joined the ocean, and ocean can take you anywhere. So just prepare yourself to move into any place, because you have to take this compassion everywhere, and to prosper the kingdom of God, you have to serve Him. And this service only possible if you know that you are here for a very great universal task, not only for England, for India, or for America, but you are here for a global task, which is the epitome of our evolution. This is the highest thing we have to do for our creation and for our Creator. And you are chosen for that. So don't divert your attention to anything that is not fulfilling your own manifestation. Discard all that. Don't waste your energy. And your manifestation is your compassion, your love. But still it should not remain rational. Whatever I have said to you is just to put you into a condition where you start sucking the vibrations as well as giving the vibrations. It is an action which is a happening that should take place within you. It's not rationality, it's not thinking about it. Only by saying these things I really stun your thinking. You should allow this to happen to you just with the vibratory awareness. You should judge yourself. Am I the one who is giving vibrations to others? Am I the one who has stored these vibrations, or am I getting ruined? All this will give you a great meaning and an employment, as I said, employed by God. If you have any questions, ask me.
If you become angry at any point with people, is that because it's a tendency or a negative entity, or is it just a tendency to react like that?
You see, if you get angry within yourself, and if you are sure that you are not doing anything wrong, for a Sahaja Yogi there is no need to say outside you are angry. There's no need. That anger itself is a power. And you should do your bandhan and anything that you want to do. But you should not show that you are angry. You should be absolutely silent, because you can be. You are in the axis, you are not on the periphery. Actually, the anger is just to see your anger and use that anger for that purpose. And once you start doing that, that anger will itself work out. That anger will itself work out the person. And you'll be amazed how it, but you must learn to see your anger that is working. All these things are important. You have seen that sometimes only shouting at the bhoots, they go away. And many mad people have been cured like that. But you don't do all that. That's for me. You must be always decent with decorum and all that. But if the anger is because of your nature or a tendency or out of control, then it's a bad thing. If it is an out of control, then it's a bad thing. If you get into a temper because it is out of control, then it's a bad thing. I can get very angry, but I am completely under control. I know why I am angry, where the bhoot is, how he is running away, I can see it. But you can't see the bhoot, you can't see anything. So there is no need for you to get angry, show temper. But if you have an anger, say for example, which makes you uncontrollable, then there is a mantra for that. Shanti. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Sosita. You must ask for that bliss, for that peace. This is a mantra for you. For controlling your temper, you have to tell yourself, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Sosita. So Shanti is the point, the axis point is that. From where you witness everything, you are in Shanti, you are in complete, you are not in a turmoil, even if you are angry. You are not in a turmoil. Whatever is angry is the power. and the power is taking charge. But unless and until that is achieved, what you have to do is to put yourself in a position that you are peaceful. So I think that's a very good mantra, is to say, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samstita. Can you say that?
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samstita. Namaste, 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 namo namah.
So the Shanti is your fort. But peacefulness never means cowardice. Never call cowardice as peace. A person who is peaceful is never coward because nothing can transgress it. Nothing can overpower it. It is never, never possible that cowardice and peace can go together. But your power is inside, not outside. So you don't show your power of your anger outside. But just a little anger with anybody, you will see it will work out. But first establish that position within you where you are the axis, where you do not allow anchor to sit on your head. That is the growth. That is the growth, that you are at peace. Also, another question. All right, satisfied now? Both ways you should know. That one is the anger that is detached is perfectly all right. Anger which involves you, work it out. So judge yourself as to what it is. Good question. Now some questions. When such intellectuals were sitting here, ask me some questions. What is that?
What are your plans to spread the
Huh?
yoga in larger scale?
What are my plans? I don't plan.
What to do?
You see, I don't plan because I don't know how far my instruments are ready. You see, first now my only plans, if I have any, is to really prepare my weapons all right. Once they are done, then we'll fix them up. You see, unless and until you know how far your bomb can fall, how can you plan it? So first of all, I must measure up the power of my children, how powerful they are. That's what I'm trying to do now, is to make them aware of their powers, to use. Like you see Hanumana, when he was born and when he grew up, he forgot that time. And he forgot his powers. So he was to be reminded that you are such and such powerful person. You don't know what your powers are. You ate off the whole of Surya. This you did in your childhood. You are born with this power. But now, after growing, you are rather be sort of forgotten it, and also you were afraid of using them, and it's sort of looks like in a dominant position. But it is there. If you just try to remember them, it will come. They have tremendous power, these people have tremendous power. But they have to assume and stand on that. If they do not do it, you see, if I tell them now, go to this house, oh mother, there may be a bhoot there sitting. A person comes possessed in the ashram, they all shut their doors, oh God, this bhoot has come. Or something. Then what's
अब हम सब श्री माता जी की आरती करेंगे।
सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जग में संकट कारण कितने लिए अवतार माँ, कितने लिए अवतार। विश्व में तेरी महिमा, विश्व में तेरी महिमा। तू गंगा यमुना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जो भी शरण में आया सुख ही मिला उसको माँ, सुख ही मिला उसको। बैठ के दिल में ओ माँ, बैठ के दिल में ओ माँ, लौट के ना जाना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा धरती पर आकर दुख से दूर करना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जब दिल में आए तब मधुर संगीत सुन लो, माँ मधुर संगीत सुन लो। हो सके जो सेवा, हो सके जो सेवा हमसे करा लेना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी सरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री शक्ति माता जी। श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माता जी। श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार देव्यै नमो नमः। बोलो श्री आदिशक्ति माता जी, श्री निर्मला देवी की जय।
Next one is Saint Tyagaraja's composition in which in the raga Shri, which is entirely different from the North Indian classical Shri raga, in which the saint, out of the many kirtanas the saint has composed, 5 of them are called Pancharatna Kirtanas, 5 gems. And in this kirtana, the saint says, Endaro Mahanabhavalu Andarki Vandanamalu. That we are rendering now.
సంచారమునిలిపి మూర్తి బాగుగొడగని ఆరందరూ మాయను భావు మానసవన చరవర సంచారము నిలిపి మూర్తి బాగుగ బొడగని పారందరూ మాయగాను. సరుగుణ పాదమునకు స్వాంతము సరోజమును సమర్పణము చేయువారందరూ మాయగాను బావు. సరగుణ పాదమునకు సరోజము సమర్పణము చేయువారందరూ మాయగాను. హరిగుణ మహిమ హరిగుణమణిమయ శరములు గళమున శోభిల్ భతగోడులలో తెలిమితో గరుణగల్ జగమెల్లను సుధా దృష్టి చేబ్రో. I am so much wanted to tell you the philosophical content of this song. I am taking the liberty of singing it. Excuse me, I am not so good in singing. హరిగుణ మణిమయ శరముల గలమున్న శోభుల్లో వారు. That's what the Nama Kirtan. Thank you. Next one is at another raga of another Kirtana of Saint Tyagaraja in the raga Kapi, which is akin to Hindustani classical music raga Pilu.